Am I the a-hole for refusing to financially support my family after they abandoned me, even though they may end up homeless and I'm doing really well now? I am my mother's oldest biological child. When I was 6 years old, my father passed away, and when I was 8 years old, my mother remarried my stepdad. Pretty much from the jump, my stepdad tried to get me to call him my dad. He wanted to erase my father, but I already had fond memories of my father already in my head. So I knew of him as Philip. My mom and Philip tried time and time again to get me to change how I addressed him. They really wanted me to address them as mom and dad, but it was mom and Philip. Philip was not my father, and I wasn't going to call him my father. Well, this came all the way up into a head when my mom got pregnant with my first sibling. It wasn't even 3 months since my sibling came home when it was time for me to go ahead and move and get out. At that time, I was about 10 years old, and I had to move from the house with my mom and Philip to my dad's sister's house. My mom let me know that it was going to be temporary, a short amount of time, and Philip had let me know until I'm able to see everybody in this family, as in mom, dad, sister, and brothers, then they don't have to live with the family. I can live with my auntie, my dad's sister, as in that was my new mom. My auntie already had a son, which was my cousin around my same age, and we ended up having a great and grand relationship, bonding and growing as two boys growing up together. After a couple of years, the contact that I had with my mom and my stepdad was kind of non-existent. They went from messaging me almost every other day to talking to me over the phone every week to about once a month to about twice a year, to the point where I graduated high school and they didn't even show up. They were sending my auntie money to watch me, but that all stopped when I turned 14 years old, and things kind of became a lot more difficult at my auntie's house. We were not able to get the foods that we were eating before, the snacks that we were eating before, and we had to legit bring back and hold back a lot of the things that we were doing. My auntie and my cousin never made any type of quarrel against it, never made any type of rude gesture, mean statement, or any of a your fault. They just went through it with me. So we ended up working together to start working on different companies and things that we could do around the house to make more money to bring in for my auntie. I extremely rarely saw my mom. I think I saw her around 4 or 5 times between the ages of 15 and 22. There was multiple times of me asking to go over, asking to visit, asking to be with my siblings, because at this point they had their second child. And every single instance was met with a no, 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 because I would not address Philip as my dad. So what happened next really changed how they looked at the whole world, because I had to call them and ask them for $35. I needed it to go on a school field trip. And when I called, pretty much my mom said, okay, well, let me give Philip the phone. While on the phone with him, he said, the only way I will give you the $35 is if you call me Dad. And at that time, I broke down and I said, Dad, can you please give me the $35? And he said, wow, was it that hard? No, you can't have it. What was the point of me? Well, if you could break that easily, I wouldn't want a son with this bad of morals. And then they hung up the phone. At that point, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to tell my auntie. I just lied and said I had got the money, and then I thought inside of my head, I will never talk to these people again. I used to always try to call to talk to my siblings every single day, pretty much to see what was going on with their life. But as I would call and learn more and more, it became more frustrating. There were so many things that I couldn't do, that I couldn't see, that I couldn't go, so many field trips that I couldn't go on or do. And these other individuals were able to do that because they have a family that loves them. And the only reason I don't have that was because there was a man that wanted me to call him daddy, or my father wasn't there and he just didn't love me. And even when I did do exactly what he wanted, he still just used it against me. I was stuck. Around this time, this is where mine and my cousin's business really started to take off. What we started to do was wash cars inside of our general area. Luckily, there was a lot of trees that had a lot of pollen, so cars needed to be washed very frequently. With the money that we was making from washing the cars, we ended up getting a power washer, and we added that on to the car washing business. So we would power wash the people's yards and then wash their cars afterwards. Then we got into landscaping. Not really a lot of deep landscaping, landscaping, we got a weed eater, and we started to do just the corners of people's lawns. With that and mowing, it made our neighborhood look so much better, which made the HOA actually pick us up as official lawnmowers inside of the next neighborhood. Not the neighborhood we lived in, but the neighborhood next to ours. When people started to see that their lawns were getting picked up and picked up and picked up, our business ended up taking off, and we were able to hire an employee. This has all been 7 years in the making, but now I could say we're doing really, really good. I was able to move my auntie inside of a whole new living area. Me and my cousins live great and lavishly. We had just went on vacation, and that is where my mom had found out how good we were doing. We had took my auntie on a vacation, and it was me and my cousin that were just sitting on the cruise, and then we ended up getting a phone call. I was like, hey, what's going on? I legit looked at the phone and said, I don't know who this